Ms Legalista here. Thank you for joining the video. We are going to be talking about why you need to tap your card and not swipe your card. We thought the whole skimming thing was over, but now it appears that we're back with something called shimming. You guys, I've never heard of it, but like I've said time and time again, these scammers and fraudsters will not stop until they have all of your money.
Back at 7:14, criminals are evolving and finding more sophisticated ways to steal your money. Super skimmers are now being used, and they're pretty hard to detect.
Yeah, Boston 25 News consumer reporter Jason Law explains why you could be at risk even with the chip card and what you can do to protect yourself.
Scammers are everywhere, and they're getting more advanced.
Yep.
Surveillance video shows the sophisticated new devices used by criminals. It's called a shimmer. In November, thieves targeted 3 ATMs in Washington state. We sped up this video so you can see the criminal act that was completed in about 1 minute.
It was a shock.
Elaine says she was a victim after a stop at the ATM. Her information was stolen and $1,000 vanished from her account.
I really have thought a lot about the idea that somebody had my information.
Shimming is much harder to detect.
Robert Siciliano is a cybersecurity consultant in Boston and CEO of ProtectNowLLC.com. He says shimming is much different than traditional skimming, which relies on a bulky overlay device that we've shown you before. Siciliano says the difference with shimming is that the device is installed inside the ATM. Most businesses aren't even aware they've been hit.
Okay. All right. So first difference here, we're used to being told, make sure you take a look at where you're putting your card into whatever, and to make sure that if there's something on top of it, that it's not something that's going to be out there getting your information. Like, we've heard that before. But in this case, it doesn't matter because you can't even see it. It's inside the machine. And it looks like not only do you not know it's there, but the bank may not know it's there either. Okay, so our lives just got much, much harder, right?
Until it's too late.
Once the shimming device is installed, it's much harder for not only the consumer to recognize that there's an issue, but for the bank themselves to even know that their devices have been compromised.
We wanted to show you exactly what to look for. Chris Hansen with the U.S. Secret Service says the scammers used a slim piece of metal, like this one, inside those ATMs.
With the newer technology, of course, the components can be smaller and smaller.
Criminals harvest the stolen data, print fake debit cards, and then go on a spree at ATMs.
So this is what we call white plastic, and you can encode the data onto this stripe.
And investigators say the thieves often use a tiny camera to steal your PIN number.
And so you can see the pinhole right here.
Many banks are trying to stay one step ahead of the scammers. The Washington State Credit Union, hit by shimmers last year, now uses high-tech fraud detection software to catch unusual transactions.
That raises a red flag.
The credit union blocked those accounts, and they're working with ATM manufacturers to prevent more fraud.
They now are working to find a solution to retrofit machines to address this latest technology. I don't want people to feel frightened to use an ATM, and certainly not at a financial institution. This is rare.
But Elaine says this experience has her thinking twice about using her debit card.
Yes, it is unnerving.
Our cybersecurity expert recommends you pay close attention to your debit or credit card activity. Set up a mobile alert on your phone so anytime there's activity with your account, you'll know right away. And above all else, if you have the option, tap your card instead of inserting or swiping it in the machine. That's the one sure way of avoiding the shimming trap.
All right, there you go. Okay, so let's sort of wrap that up. I think he did a really good job of taking us through the final takeaway pieces there. One is tap, don't swipe, tap, don't swipe. The other thing, and I don't think they hit on this as much, they showed you how they even have the tiny cameras. They have the tiny cameras so that they can get your PIN when you're putting it in. And here's the thing. A lot of times when we go to the bank, we think we're okay. There are a lot of cameras around. It's a bank, and we maybe don't cover up like we used to. Remember, there was a time when we put in our PINs and we were like this. Okay, we need to go back to being like this, because if they get the information for the card, but they don't have the PIN, in some cases, that is going to make it harder for them to use it. Now, there's sometimes you can swipe these things and they don't ask for a PIN, but when they do, they won't have it. So that's the other thing to think about. Go back to covering up and making sure that there's nothing that can see you pushing those numbers there. All right, so go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. We're staying on top of all of these things that you need to do, things that you need to know about in order to keep your money safe, keep your money in your own wallet, your own pocketbook, and from all of these scamsters and fraud people who are out there. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up if you learned something new, or if you just got reminded of something you need to do again. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace.